Matt, lean on you for what you would consider to be an impossible task, I think, in selecting just 4 players to comprise the Mount Rushmore for USC.
Yeah, so I think that in terms of the how you go about this, I mean, you have to take someone from the 1972 team because that's the greatest USC team of all time. I mean, and of course, that's not to minimize 2004 or other great USC teams, but I think 1972, like that, just in terms of how dominant a USC team was from beginning to end, 72, I think remains the gold standard. You can put 2004 there in the conversation. I think if 2004 had dump trucked Aaron Rodgers and Cal by 3-4 touchdowns, that might be a different story. It might be a different verdict, but 72, you have to have someone from there. So like you could have Anthony Davis from there. You could have Sam Cunningham from there. You have to have someone from the 2004 team. And you have to have, making sure that you have at least someone from the different eras. So, Ronnie Lott from the late 1970s. I mean, Anthony Munoz was injured for a little bit. It's like his credentials are considerable, but the fact that he was injured for a good portion of that 1979 season, you probably put Lott over Munoz if you're comparing the two. But it's not as though there's a clearly wrong answer, with these greats. And of course, you have to have a running back. And I think, Charles White, it's not just because he died. It's not just recency bias. Like if you go back through our shows here at the Voice of College Football, White, like we litigated, who is the best USC running back of all time, not in terms of the pro career that followed, but in terms of what he did at USC. I mean, Charles White, in terms of touches, in terms of yards, in terms of just taking a pounding and being the toughest pound for pound college football running back who ever lived, like that's not hyperbole. Like Charles White really was that guy. And so, in my mind, he is the best running back ever at a school which produced Marcus Allen and O.J. Simpson and Mike Garrett. So I think Charles White probably has to be there. So Ronnie Lott, Charles White, now let's see, from the 2004 Pete Carroll team. I mean, Reggie Bush was electric, but that is a little bit running back centric there. So you do have some tough choices, but representation from the 1970s and the Pete Carroll era. I mean, those would probably form the central components of a USC Mount Rushmore.
If we do take the pro career, which I don't advise, I think it's a, but obviously this is just, fun. Anybody can do whatever they want with this, but I tend to rate and rank these college players based solely on what they did as collegiate players, because certainly some of them went on to ridiculous NFL careers. Others became busts, but I don't think that should downgrade their evaluation as collegiate players in any such way. But if we do take it onto the NFL level, USC produced NFL players. Is it? I don't want to say it's clear because there are just so many great players. But to me, it's somewhat clear to go OJ, Marcus Allen, Anthony Munoz, Ronnie Lott.
Can you really argue with those 4? I mean, you could say Troy Polamalu, possibly, maybe, but like really, you can't argue with those 4. You can't. Not like it's just there. You can't get better than that. You can't.